Staggering. I mean, staggering kinds of feedback and findings. So the next question, they went a little bit deeper and they said, well, how important was chiropractic for maintaining health and well-being? 47.9% of the respondents said it was very important. 29.6% said it was somewhat important, and 13.9% said it was slightly important. That totals up to 91.4% of the people surveyed said that chiropractic was important in maintaining their health and well-being to some degree, with the overwhelming majority saying it was very important and somewhat important as opposed to slightly important. Now, we missed out on 8.7% of the population who said it wasn't important at all in terms of their maintaining their health and well-being, but we'll take the 91.4% and run with that. And then they ask whether the person's used chiropractic for a specific health problem. And again, that was 66.9%, and that's consistent with the low back pain, neck pain intake information from the front end. Now, relative to the care for this, relative to the specific problems that they sought care for, 63.2% was back pain, 30.2% was neck pain, 13.6% was joint pain or stiffness, 9% for muscle or bone pain, headache or migraine for a little bit less than 5% at 4.7%, arthritis, the same 4.7%, and chronic pain, 3.9%. So clearly, people are seeking care for acute musculoskeletal problems on the front end. That's how they see us, apparently, in the marketplace. And then once they engage with us, they start to see other benefits that are coming about in their life and circumstances as a result of the care. And that's what they reported to Adams and his colleagues relative to the report that we've already gone through.
And part of what makes this so dramatic is that it's only talking about people that have received care in a chiropractor's office, as opposed to looking at differences between the general public, people that consider going to a chiropractor or their views. These are people that actually have been there and what they get to experience.
And there's another nuance to that, is that that's absolutely true, Stu. And this is chiropractic-centric, chiropractic-focused. This isn't chiropractic and manual therapy. This isn't chiropractic and osteopathy. This isn't chiropractic and integrative health. This is chiropractic, period. And just as you said, this is not the feedback is coming randomly from those 34,000 plus families, and this is what we're seeing reflected in this. So in terms of the next question was, did chiropractic help for the specific problem? So let's assume that they came for neck pain or back pain. 64.5% said it helped a great deal. 25.8% said it helped some, and 6.1% it helped only a little. And unfortunately, 3.5% said it didn't help at all. So 96.4% of the population received help from chiropractic care for the specific health problems that they sought care for to begin with.
What other health care can come away with a stat anywhere close to that? I haven't seen it.
Yeah, well, my knee jerk is to say nothing comes close, but I don't know that. And I don't know if a similar analysis as that Adams did has been done with other disciplines. So, as much as we might think that, well, this is us all alone, there may be other surveys that show good results in other types of care. And we need to be fair and acknowledge that that's a possibility. But as you say, the data we have at this point, reflecting a 96% plus satisfaction with the care that people receive from their chiropractor is pretty remarkable. Pretty remarkable. Now, the next types of questions that they got into is, well, why did you see the chiropractor to begin with? And not what symptom that brought you in, but why did you choose to have a chiropractor deal with you for the symptom? Well, 6.3% of the respondents said that medical treatment was too expensive. The next one is very telling, and it's also very consistent with Aston's feedback from '98, is that the care combined with medical care would help. That chiropractic care together with medical care would help, and that came back at 64.8%. So for the chiropractor that thinks the public is in an us or them mindset, this data says that's not true. This data says the public wants a cafeteria approach where they can put together their team to provide the care that they feel will be most helpful to them in their life and circumstance. So to go on further with the data, the feedback was that medical care doesn't work for the specific problem, 33.8%. The next said that the medications that would be used to treat their problem have side effects. That was 18.1%. And then another marketing gem here is that 37.5% of the population responded that they felt chiropractic care was natural in its approach. And then the next takeaway is one that I think for anybody that's been in this a long time, the next couple are kind of heartwarming, is that the consumers reported that chiropractic care focuses on the whole person, the mind, the body, and the spirit at a rate of 25%. And another 82% said that chiropractic care deals with the cause of the problem and not just the symptoms. And finally, 10% of the people surveyed sought chiropractic care because it was how they were brought up, and they're conducting their lives as their parents guided and directed them. One of the great quotes to take away from the ADMAS paper is chiropractic services are an important component of the healthcare provisions for patients affected by musculoskeletal disorders, especially back pain and neck pain. We got that. And now the kicker, and or for maintaining their overall well-being. I don't know of another research article that addressed the overall well-being and the nature of secondary positive outcomes that are associated with chiropractic care as thoroughly and as remarkably as this paper did. As I told you before at the beginning of this discussion, Stu, I've never seen anything like this in my career.
Yeah.
And this could be one of the most important pieces of literature you and I have ever seen.
I totally agree. That's why I wanted it to get out there. And, you know, even when many years ago when I was practicing, we always surveyed, not an official formal thing like this, but I wanted to know how people were responding to our care. And it was interesting because for whatever reasons, we wound up getting a lot of people that came to us at that point in time with headaches. And we documented how many were on medications, how many felt like they needed less medication or went to their medical provider and got off the medication, how many responded well, how many didn't, all of that. And I thought that that was so cool because we felt so empowered in talking to our patients because I had statistics that were actual documents in our own office. And this is from the government. It's not based on a United States bias, let's call it, in the healthcare environment. These were international people that took the data and put it together. And ADMAS was the lead, which is why I affectionately call it the ADMAS study. Can you tell us anything about ADMAS?
When the paper came out and I saw it, I was curious as to who the fellow was that was the lead behind it. And I talked to a couple people in Australia, and the gentleman's out of Sydney. And I believe it's the University of Science and Technology that he's affiliated with in Sydney. And they identified him as a hardcore, hard-nosed science guy who has no concern whatsoever for the politics of anything that he's looking into. And the facts are the facts, the numbers are the numbers, period. And I've never met the gentleman. I look forward to meeting him. I want to shake his hand, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But the feedback I was given is he's a no nonsense. The facts are the facts, and let's get on with it kind of guy, who's not influenced by the politics of the moment or the politics of the condition or the circumstance that he's studying.
You know, we go back together quite a bit, and the first mass production patient education was done by Guy Reekman and Joe Felicia under the Renaissance banner many, many moons ago. And to me, this is your patient education sitting right in front of you. I can see that, you know, even though we talked at the very beginning of this about how we utilize or how we want our doctors to utilize all of the information that's available to us on how safe it is to go to a chiropractor in the stroke conversation, this is it. Yeah. Because when you had, I believe it was about 3.5% of the population that actually went to the chiropractor did not get results that they were looking for. But then again, 33+% of the people that came to the chiropractor came because they did not get results in the traditional medical model. So in putting it all together, I think that it's critical, if we're talking everyday chiropractor in their office, that the doctors have this available to them, this information, so that it's at their fingertips. I don't know that I'd be proposing go do patient lectures just on this. I think it becomes part of your, not only your table talk, but when you have a new patient coming into your practice, how comforting would it be for them to know what other people have experienced in an unbiased report like this?
Yes, yeah, no question about it. You know, and there's another spin-off to this that will have potentially even greater value over time, is that this study now gives permission to young researchers to start looking at these questions associated with chiropractic care. A young research, when, you know, the mood right now in the US relative to the research community is low back pain, neck pain, headache, etc. It's shifting thanks to Dr. Havik and her team from New Zealand. It's shifting into a more neurologically oriented perspective, but the rank and file of the crowd are still in the low back pain, neck pain, headache environment.
Sure.
This study put on the table with the results that it has from the origins that it comes from is now a green light for young researchers to begin to look at chiropractic in a different way than they have before. Even our own people, let alone people outside the discipline, our own people can look at chiropractic beyond that neck pain, back pain, headache routine. Not that we're not good for those, not that we can't help people with those problems, but we certainly don't want to be held and limited to that as being the overall impact of chiropractic care. This not just cracks the door, it blows the door wide open for those people to start looking differently at their research questions and to ask different, better, and deeper questions about the effect of chiropractic care.
It's also something that our forefathers in this profession had recognized, and any of us that have taken care of patients, you know, we know that this stuff happens. But to have someone actually document it totally outside of our realm on our own behalf. They didn't do it for us. This just happened to be what the outcome was. How great is that? And yeah. I think that the doctors need to take into consideration the fact that in our profession, sure, we have political differences and we have our own bias. I only want to deal with the musculoskeletal. I want to deal with a bigger picture than that. But just looking at the data, the people that like to come and work based on the fact that they're into yoga and into more natural healing and into eating more organic and all of these things that are evident based on participating in a chiropractic office based on care. But in a sense, it really talks a lot about creating a chiropractic lifestyle based on the care that they've received.
That's right. That's right. And how it helps them or allows them to look at things differently. And clearly, the people that seek chiropractic services are looking for something other than the traditional healthcare that they've been raised with. So they're open to change. And the drive home message for me is congratulations to every chiropractor out there that has been telling the story about the adjustment and talking about the impact from their experience and from what they've seen in their practice. You now have something of substance in a scientific sense behind you to say, my God, you were right, and keep it up.
Yeah.
I'd like to throw in one caution if I could. The tendency will be for people to get very excited about this article and this literature. I'm begging people, I'm pleading with people, I'm praying, just use what it says. Don't embellish it, don't interpret it, don't restate it. It's magnificent as it is. It's got the power of the article behind it when you quote it and use it as it's presented. When you start to modify it and bring interpretation into it, it loses that effect. So go with what they gave us. Run far and wide with it, and be honest and true to what they wrote, and this will serve us for decades to come.
It totally validates, as you indicated, so much of what we've been saying for so many years. But to me, the even more far-reaching effect of it, as I was talking about education, patient education, it's really about the people that come into an office that may be nervous, because we talked about in one of our shows a while back about the Gallup poll that was done through Palmer College. And as much information as that provided, it really highlighted the fact that a lot of people that won't consider going to a chiropractor, won't consider it because they're afraid to have their neck adjusted. Okay, fine. But anyone that does show up in your office that may even be a little bit tentative, how comforting would it be for them to know all of these people's experience? And we're not talking a sample of, 16 people like you see on CBS News at night, brand new medical study, it's promising, 16 people. This is 42,000 people were checked, 32,000 or whatever you indicated, Dr. Clum, had responded, 80% of that. That's a whole lot of people for a survey to quantify it as totally valid. Is that not in the scientific community something that's pretty impressive?
And as the authors noted in the beginning of the study, this is the primary vehicle in the United States for collection of data and feedback to the system. So this is not some random magazine survey,
right,
that you take at the grocery stand. This is a remarkable piece of research based upon a very important data set.
And it's not for today's conversation, but I know we can have conversations, as all chiropractors should, about what else can we do with a study like this in terms of working better with the government, with Medicare, with insurance companies, with industry, because some of the things are so profound. Like you used the 21% of the people are more encouraged to do exercise than they were before they went to the chiropractor. That is enormous. And who wouldn't want some of the things that are just totally black and white in this study? So I really appreciate you coming on and bringing this in such a clear, concise manner to everybody, as you always do, and for participating and bringing it to my attention. I had no idea that it was even out there. So we always look to you to be a leader in bringing the most up-to-date information, and we really appreciate all you do for ChiroSecure, but really much more important, what you have done for so many years and continue to do for the entire chiropractic profession. So.